Hello everyone, welcome to the session 2 of Python programming. As I've already spoken with you guys and explained to you, the programming that we are training people on is aligned to BTech in Data Science Semester 1 program. But we also found that it was very exhaustive. Since it was very exhaustive, we thought we will take that curriculum and then we'll build on top of that. Of course, our curriculum with BTech in data science and AI combined would give you an amazing experience in learning Python programming. And that is where we stand now. So yesterday, we started off by, or in the previous module rather, we have discussed about Python. And then we have also installed Anaconda. And in Anaconda, we have looked at Spider. We have looked at Jupyter. And we have looked at Google Colab. These are the three things that we have explored. It's like you have different cars which are available, right? When you book a car in Ola, you can book a hatchback or a sedan or an SUV. No matter which car you book, ultimately you'll reach your destination. These three are like that. These three are like three different cars which are available. You can choose anything to travel. Ultimately, you reach your destination. And that is exactly what you need to bear in mind. Okay. And no matter what you use, it is Python programming at the end of the day. Python programming does not change just because you're using Spider or Jupyter or Google Colab does not mean your Python programming will change. Your Python programming still remains the same. Since we have already seen Google Colab yesterday, I thought just for a change, let us use Jupyter. And you know how to open Jupyter, how to load a file. I'm just going to quickly show you that. The reason being, we also have an option to embed the presentation slides. And I can also explain you these. And immediately after that, we can get into the program. Okay. And let me also tell you that we have a mind map on our website. This is 360 Digit MG, Digital Transformation Management and Governance. And when you go to 360digitmg.com, you will see a menu option called Mind Map. Let me highlight that for you, Mind Map. When you click on this Mind Map, you land on this specific page. And here in the drop down, you can select Python Programming Fundamentals. When you click on this and immediately click on this, you would see this specific option, right? Wherein you can double click to collapse the mind map, double click to expand. As and how we proceed further by talking about the various options, various concepts of Python, you can always come back to this. And you can look at what are the various features, what do you mean by variables in Python, all that which we discuss, you will find it within this. When I collapse, it appears as if it's very crisp and condensed, right? But when you double click and start expanding it, that is when you'll see that there are a lot of additional options available. So I request you all to please make use of the mind map. I'm going to share the link here on Zoom, and our team is going to post that on the YouTube channel. Please read it on a daily basis until you complete the training, 20 hours of training. All right, so let's get started. If we want to open Jupyter, there are multiple ways. One way to open that is via Anaconda. When you launch Anaconda Navigator, you will have a lot of IDEs, integrated development environments. And each of the integrated development environment will have a different look and feel. And that is called as GUI, GUI, Graphical User Interface. And all you need to do is click on launch. Click on this option called launch to be able to open this. I'm clicking on launch. Already I have Jupyter open. And the moment you click on that, what happens is it's going to take you to this specific page, okay, where Jupyter will be launched. I'll do one more thing. I'll just close this and I will reopen it, so that I might show you right from scratch. Let me close. That's choked completely, so I'll have to. Or let me go to Python and let me first. Let me do one thing, so that these do not. So I've ended that, and affirmatively to be closed. Yes. Now I'll go to start once again, and when you type Anaconda, you'll see Anaconda Navigator, and you'll see a green icon there adjacent to that. Just click on that, and it will open Anaconda Navigator for you all. Let it pop up. It will take some time, but it's worth waiting. And as I've told you, Anaconda, for people like you and me, if you want to practice, it is for free. But if you want to use it for commercial purpose, if you want to do your projects on that, etc., it is then paid. Okay, I have it here. I'll show the name. There we go. Yeah. So if you just click on launch, that would open Jupyter for us. That's how it's gonna open. And once it opens, all you need to do is, if you have a Python file available, you just click on upload. And once you click on upload, you would find a file. You just double click on that and it would appear here. Once it appears here, click on upload. Since I already have that file, it is asking me to overwrite. Otherwise, it would upload. Once you upload that, you go to that specific file. This is a file. I'll click on that, and it opens up. But we are here, so I'll just quickly close this part. Yesterday, we have discussed about variables. Okay, and we have discussed that we can assign numbers or some values to your variable. That variable will store the values that you have assigned to that. For example, if you say x equal to 10, so you would be assigning 10 to an object or variable called x. And you can use this for further processing. If you say y equal to 5, you're assigning this 5 to a variable called y. And then you can use it for further processing. For example, you can say x plus 5, which is 10 plus 5. Okay, and then this will give you answer as 15. So the moment you store the values in variables, you can use variables for further processing. And variable is a pointer to the content in memory. So what happens is when you say 10 equal to X, that means you're assigning this value 10 to a variable called X. The moment you do that, it will store this information in your memory, RAM, random access memory. There are two things, right? When you try to save a Excel file, for example, where will it get stored? It will get stored on your hard disk. Get stored on your hard drive. Okay. For example, I have this Excel file called NB and KNN. This is stored on the hard disk. But then within Python, when you assign values to your variables, that variable and this information is getting stored in memory. So it's not permanently stored, just temporarily for your processing, it is stored. If you restart your computer, it will be gone. If you close Jupyter or Anaconda or Python, it will close. It will erase the information of all these variables. So it stores in memory. Okay. Next thing is variables can be alphanumeric, but they should always start with alphabets. And identifiers, or I would put it this way, variable is a kind of identifier. It's a type of identifier. And identifiers usually we use when we define some functions. Hey, don't worry. What do you mean by functions? What do you mean by defining? We'll get there. See, I have a habit, friends, of introducing people to certain terminologies. And I keep repeating those terminologies time and again so that it gets internalized. And then I get into the concepts. Then you'll feel that, oh, this particular term, I've heard about this multiple times. That's the only purpose of bringing in certain things. For now, just remember, that's it. Just remember that when you define functions, what do you mean by function? How do you define it? Forget about it. Just remember these two words called as define functions. When you define your functions, not define something. When you define your functions, we use identifiers, which are very similar to variables. Variables are a type of identifiers. But then when you use the names of identifiers, you need to use combination of lowercase and or uppercase or digits. And you can combine them with even underscore. But no special characters are allowed, as we have discussed previously. But underscore is allowed. Only underscore is allowed. And in Python, variables are directly assigned with a value. Okay. And thanks to its dynamic programming. The moment you assign a value to a variable, directly it gets assigned. There's no additional processing which is needed. There are a few other programming languages where additional processing is needed, but here, the moment you assign a value, it directly goes there. Next, assignment operator is this equal to sign. These equal to signs that we see are called as assignment operators. If I say Z is equal to 12, just as an example, this equal to sign is called as assignment operator. Okay. And the value would be on the right hand side. Whatever you see here is a value. And this value is getting assigned to a variable. And the variables would be on the left hand side. Okay, this is how typically. you have information, right? Now, there are certain keywords or reserved words. These keywords or reserved words are predefined variables. When you want to give a specific variable name, it should not be any of the predefined variables. Whenever you define a variable, you cannot give these predefined or reserved words or keywords. And these keywords are case sensitive. That means if you have false, FALSE false is different to FALSE. These two are not the same. FALSE with an uppercase here, F, and FALSE with lowercase f, these two are different. And these reserved words or keywords cannot be used as variable names or function names or any other identifier. Okay, what do you mean by function name? Hold on to your horses, right? Slowly and steadily we will understand everything. Okay. And within Python, we know for a fact that we have a lot of libraries. Yesterday we have already discussed about what is a library. A few of the libraries come pre-installed. They'll be already installed when you install Python. Pre-installed along with Python. And a few other libraries you need to manually install. If they're already pre-installed, you cannot readily use it. So what should you do? You have to invoke the library. You have to invoke the library. In both cases, even if it is manually installed, you need to invoke the library separately. How do we install? We'll talk about it later. When we come across libraries which are not installed, I'll tell you how to install. But then to invoke the already existing libraries, we use a function. Okay, we use a function called as import. Import what? Give the library name, keyword. Import what? Import the library. That's how you invoke. How do we invoke? You just say import. If you want to import a library called keyword, do that. Just type this. And once it gets imported or invoked, you can start using this library. And within this keyword library, there is KW list. It will give you a list of all the keywords or reserved words. And these words cannot be used as variable names. For instance, I cannot say class equal to 10. Why? Because this class is a keyword or a reserved word. This will throw error. You cannot do that. Okay, so if you want to run any line of code, it is very simple. Here you have this option called run. Okay. It would automatically execute the specific cell. And you see here, there is a shortcut, Control Enter on your keyboard, Control and Enter. If you're using MacBook, Command Enter. There will be a keyword called as Command and Enter. When you do that, that specific cell will get executed. So let me say Control Enter. So it gives you the list of all the keywords which are reserved. You cannot reuse or you cannot use those for your variable names. So what is an identifier? Identifier is used to name a variable, a function, class, structure, union, so on and so forth. Don't worry too much. It's all theory at this point of time. It's created to give a unique name. Okay. Variables are kind of identifiers. Identifiers can have combination of letters or digits, or you can use underscore. It is not a keyword. Identifier is not keyword. Keywords are these. Keywords cannot be identifiers. Okay. Then statement or expression, I'll get to that later. Yesterday, we have also seen this variable declaration. Quickly, you have all these things. If you want, you can read, or in the previous session, you would have seen that. 10, we assigned it to car. We did all these things, right? Now, we are expected to proceed further with operators. So, operators in Python. Operators are the constructs which can manipulate the value of operands. Oh my God, that's a fully loaded statement. Right? It gives me goosebumps. Read that and try to understand. It's a fully loaded statement over there. Don't worry about that. Here is an example. 2 plus 2, you get 5. 2 and 2, 2 and 3, are called as operands. And the plus sign here is called as operator. And you have a lot of operators such as arithmetic operators. Then you have comparison or relational operators. You have assignment operators, logical operators, membership operators, identity, and bitwise operators. Let us now understand each and every operator in further detail. So let's get started with arithmetic operator. And remember one more thing, friends. If you go to mind map, here you have all the operators. So this mind map will help you quickly do a revision of the concepts that you're learning here. So we have arithmetic operators. Okay, here is an example. We are assigning number 10 value using this assignment operator to a variable called A. So just to quickly tell you, in the initial days, this is how I'll be a little slow. Bear with me. This 10 here is called as a value. This equal to sign is called as assignment operator. And this A is called as a variable. And then you're assigning a value called 20 using this assignment operator equal to another variable called B. Now, when you say A comma B, it will just show you 10 comma 20. Okay, you can execute that. How do I execute it? Simple, control enter. And that line gets executed. That's shortcut in Windows. On Macintosh, it is command enter. Now, once you assign values to the variables, you can perform operations on the variables. For example, if it is A plus B, it will do 10 plus 20, which is obviously 30. Why is it showing this? Let me run this line again. I don't know. Maybe I didn't execute it correctly. Okay. Okay. A is 10, B is 20. So 10 plus 20 is 30. Subtraction is another arithmetic operation. A minus B, which is 10, A is 10, minus B is 20. When you subtract it, you get minus 10. Then you have A multiplied by B. Once again, A is already assigned a value 10 into. You have B which has 20. When you multiply these two, you get 200. That is what you have. Then you have division, which is also another arithmetic operator. Then A divided by B, A is obviously 10, which is assigned here, A is 10. Divided by B is given as 20. When you divide these two, you get 0.5. 1 by 2, 0.5. That is what we're getting here. Then you have floor divisions. When you have double forward slash, right? Double forward slash is called as floor division. So here, if you look at 0.5, in this, 0 is called as floor. Okay. And then you also have something called as ceiling. We'll talk about ceiling later. In a building, you'll have floor and ceiling, right? So floor division means you always take the lower value. For example, 10 by 10 divided by 20 would actually give you 0.5, but it will round it off to the nearest lower integer. To the nearest lower integer, which is 0. It will round it off in that. If it is 1.5, if you get a result as 1.5, it will round it off to 1. If you have 2.8, it will round it off to 2. Floor value, it will take only the floor value, not the ceiling value. So that's how it works. And A divided by B, floor division gives you 0.5 because it is 10. A is 10, B is 20. Equal to 20. You know these values, right? So 10 floor division of 20 would give you 0.5, and the floor of that is 0. Then you have remainder, obviously, right? B divided by, B is 20, A is 10. When you divide these, what is the remainder? 10 to 20, remainder will be 0. You remember the divisions, 10 to 20, and the remainder is 0. If you want remainder, then you need to use this percentage symbol, which will give you remainder. If you just use the division sign, you will get the quotient. You get the quotient. And then this is exponential. A is 10. If you use the multiplication symbol twice, and then B is 20, then what it does is 10 raised to the power 20. This is what it does. 10 raised to the power 20 is given in that. Start. Now, 10 raised to the power 20 means you need to have 20 zeros, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's how it is. All right, so that's exponential. So these are all called as arithmetic operators. There we go. Now, if you open this, you'd find all those operators. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, remainder, exponential. Next. We have something called as comparison operator. Very easy, very simple. Double equal to. So if you have a single equal to sign, friends, this is called as what? Assignment operator. This is called an assignment operator. That means you're assigning this value 10 to a variable called A. But when you have double equal to, that means you're trying to compare. You're trying to compare whether A value is equal to 10 or not. So this is called as comparison operator. Comparison operator. So is A equal to B? Is a question that you're asking. You know for a fact that A has been assigned value 10, B has been assigned value 20. So is 10 equal to 20? No, false. That is what is given in output. Comma, is A not equal to B? This exclamation mark here means not equal to. Is A not equal to B? Yeah, 10 is not equal to 20. So it's true. Yeah, it is true that 10 is not equal to 20. And then you have a greater than sign. Is A greater than B? Is 10 greater than 20? No. So it is false. So it will give you a Boolean value as output. When you use comparison operators, you get Boolean values as output. What are Boolean values? True or false? True or false values are called as Boolean values. Then A less than B. Already we know for a fact that A is assigned a number 10 and B is assigned a value 20. So is 10 less than 20? Yes. 10 is less than 20, right? So that is true. Then is A greater than or equal to B? Greater than or equal to B? No, 10 is not greater than or equal to 20. So false. Is A less than or equal to B? That is 10 less than or equal to 20? Yes, 10 is less than 20. So you get true. So whenever you use comparison operators like equal to, double equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, etc., the results that you get would be Boolean values, whether that is true or false. Next, you have something called as assignment operators. So here, if I go to mind map once again, you have relational or comparison operators. Comparison operators are also called as relational operators. So please, you might want to bookmark the mind map and then you might want to frequently do a recap. Of course, we are going to add more information for each of these so that it becomes even more easier for you all to learn and understand. Okay. So we have assignment operators. Very easy, nothing to worry about that. So when you say already we have assigned A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. Already that has happened in the previous lines. If I were to show you here, already A is 10 and B is 20. Already that is assigned. It's still there in the memory. It will be there in the memory until you close this. If I go and click on close and if I close Jupyter, only then it will go away from memory. Until then, the values which you assign to variables would be there in memory. So you have assignment operators. When you say C equal to A plus B, 10 plus 20, 10 plus 20, which is 30. 30 gets assigned to this C. And when you say print whatever is there in C, it will print you the value, which is nothing but 30. So this line would give you this. It will just store the results, okay? Here, when you run this line, it will say C is equal to A is 10 plus B is 20. So the result 30 gets stored in this. It will not get printed on the output. Only when you say print, it will show you the value which is there in C, which is 30. Then you can also abbreviate it in this way. I mean, there's a different way of assigning. You can also use this shorthand sign, which is C is equal to C plus equal to B. This is nothing but C is equal to C plus B. Shorthand way of writing C equal to C plus B is this. C plus equal to B. It's a shorthand way of writing C equal to C plus B. And then it will store the result in C. So when you executed this line of code, which is C equal to A plus B, and you know for a fact that A equal to 10, B equal to 20, already those were assigned previously. And 10 plus 20 would give you 30. So now this value C will contain 30. And when you execute this line of code, which is C equal to C plus B, what happens? This is equal to C is given as 30 now. So 30 plus B value already is 20. And 30 plus 20 will give you 50. That 50 will get stored in C. But if you want to see what is there in that, then explicitly you have to call that C. You have to say C. Then it will show you that C contains. Now, your question might be, here also I can give C. Why did I give print C? So let me do one thing. I'll remove the C, print, and then rerun it. It is giving only 50. It's not giving me the C value here and then the C value here. It's only giving me the most recent value that you're asking. But if you also want to see on what happened here, then you need to use print and then do a control enter, and then you will be able to see what is there here, 30, and then you're saying C, which is 50. If I were to type, say, A, for example, and if I were to run it, it shows me only A value. Since you use print, it is showing you that C value. Since here you didn't give the print function, it is not giving you the C value here. C value here became 150. Okay, it's not showing you that. And it is only printing the last variable A. A has counted. But if you use print here, and then if you run by pressing Control Enter, it says that, okay, A was assigned as 10, B was assigned a value 20. Where did that happen? In the initial lines of code, A is 10, B is 20. Now, when you say C equal to A plus B, which is 10 plus 20, you get 30. So here this value will be 30. When you say print of C, you get this. Then C plus equal to B is nothing but C equal to C plus B. C is already 30 plus B is 20. So now this becomes 50. The C value changed to 50. Since you're saying print of C, it's giving you this. And then since you're also saying show me what is there in A, it will show up. The last line would by default get executed, and it will show whatever value would be there in that. But then in the previous lines, if you want the variable names, you will not be able to see that until and unless you use the print functions. Okay, next. What would happen if you do this? C minus equal to B. It's written as C is equal to C minus B. Now, what is the C value? The most recent C value is 50 minus A value was assigned as 10, B value as 20. The most recent C value is 50. So let me write that. So C equal to C minus B would be this. So you get 30. C value is 30. Then you have the new C value, which is 30. So the previous value gets overwritten now, and the new C value now becomes 30 because it's 30 now. Now, when you say C multiplication equal to B, this is nothing but C equal to C multiplied by B. What is the C value now? 30. B value was always 20. So you multiply these two and then you get what? 600. So you have the 600. Now what happens is the C value changes from 30 to 600. So the variable names get overwritten if you give the same variable name. Throughout you're giving C, 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 C. So it's getting overwritten. That's one thing that we need to remember. Variables dynamically get changed. Now this is written as C is equal to C divided by B. Now the new C value is 600. 600 divided by 20, obviously you get 30. And that is what is given here. Okay. Here is where I want to tell you about one important thing. That one very important thing that you need to remember is that the division operator would give you a result which would be called as floating point number. It gives you floating point numbers as output. All the other operators like, be it addition or subtraction or multiplication, etc., have given you integer values. All these are integers. Integers means numbers without decimals. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, without any decimals. But the moment you look at here, it is 30.1, sorry, 0.0. So it has the decimal value, right? If it has a decimal value, then it's called as floating point number. Otherwise, it is an integer. Okay. Oops. Let me go back here and then let me erase these. So now the C value is 30. Okay. So let me erase this. Sorry, I'm not looking at your questions on YouTube chat. But what I will do is I will ensure that our team makes a note of all those questions, and tomorrow I will answer those questions before I proceed. Okay. I don't have the chance to look at both, so just excuse me. But then I'll certainly address your questions in tomorrow's session. Just bear with me on that. Okay. So now the C value got updated to 30. 30.0 is nothing but 30. Now here we have the next operator, which is remainder. So this is written as C is equal to C, okay, percentage sign B. Sorry about that. Now the C value is 30.0 percentage modulus of B 20. When you do this, okay, I doubt this would give you 10, but then let me, yeah, it gave me 10. Why 10? So that's right, sorry. C is equal to C modulus of B, and when you do this, 30, 20, 20 once 20, and what is the remainder? 10. And that is what we got. Remainder is 10. Next. Now the new C value becomes 10. Let me erase this also and change this to 10. This is C is equal to C raised to the power B. This can also be written as C raised to the power B. The C value is 10. It becomes 10 raised to the power 20. This can be also written as 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 20, okay, 20 times zeros. Or this can be abbreviated as 1e plus 20, meaning 10 raised to the power 20. That can be written like this. So if you write 1e plus 30, this is nothing but 10 raised to the power 30. 1e plus 16 means 10 raised to the power 16. Rather than print out the complete value, it will compress and it will abbreviate and give you the abbreviated output here. Next. Now the new C value is 10 raised to the power 20. It's a big number. If we were to move to this line now, and then if we were to look at this, we want the floor division. This is floor division, remember. C is equal to C floor division of B. C value is nothing but 10 raised to the power 20. If you divide it by 20, you get some number. That number is equivalent to this. So how do you write it? 5 into 10 raised to the power 18. That is how you write. This can also be written as 1 into 10 raised to the power 20. If I write 6e plus 20, this is written as 6 into 10 raised to the power 20. There are some flies which are this. Excuse me for that, but then this is written as 6 into 10 raised to the power 20. Okay, so this is written as what? 5 into 10 raised to the power 18. Now this happens to be your most recent C value until now. So if I were to get the final value of C, after all these operations are done, it happens to be 5e plus 18. So you write it as 5 into 10 raised to the power 18. This is how you write 5 into 10 raised to the power 18. Okay. Next. So if you want to look at these operators, which are assignment operators, once again go here, you'll see assignment operators. Okay. So it is so very simple, right? You always reach out to the mind map to quickly do a recap for your exams, for your interviews, for your practice. This will serve as a ready reckoner. Okay, then we have multiple values. How can we assign? If you say a comma b comma c equal to 1 comma 2 comma 5, then in the sequential order, it is assigned in sequential order. So 1 will be assigned to A, 2 will be assigned to B, and 5 will be assigned to C. And when you say print A comma B comma C, it's going to print out the values. A has 1, B has 2, C has 5. This is how you can assign multiple values. Next. You can also try out this if you have a doubt. Hey, what would happen instead of print? I just directly give A comma B comma C. Print A comma B comma C has given you these values. When you say A comma B comma C, it's giving you the same values. Print, if it's the last line, it doesn't really make sense, right? But if it's a line before that, then print function comes in very handy, as in this. If you want to print the value here also and print the value here also, then it makes sense. If it's the last line and if you want to print that value, even without print function, it will give you the number. It will give you the value. Next. We have something called as logical operators. Logical, right? First, let us look at AND operator. You have AND operator, and you have something called as OR operator. Where can these be used? We'll talk about it later. Okay, Python can be used by electrical engineers also, by electronics engineers also, right? For doing some kind of embedded programming, etc. In IoT, Internet of Things scenario also we can use it. What is Internet of Things? When I can, this is a smartwatch, for example. If I can, over internet, transmit the data onto the mobile, okay, then these two are called as Internet of Things. Internet of Things. There are two things that I have, Internet of Things. So I'm transmitting the data from one thing to another thing over internet. That's called as Internet of Things. Okay. Anyways. So in those kind of scenarios in IoT, you will have some kind of semiconductor devices, etc. You need to do Python. You can also use Python programming, and these and or operators will come in very handy in those kind of scenarios. Just in case you're wondering on why am I learning this? What is the real essence of that? So this is essence. Okay. So what we are doing is forget about what is written here. I'll explain about that in a bit. So if a value, if you're assigning 3, semicolon means that is done. Then B is assigned 2, then C is assigned 0. Instead of assigning in this way, A is 1, B is 2, C is equal to 5. Instead of assigning in this way, this is also another way of assigning values to your variables. Now, if I say A and B, A is 3, and we are using AND, which is a logical operator. B is 2. If the left-hand side value, this is your left-hand side value, This is your right side value. So you have a left side value and you have right side value. If the left side value is non-zero number, here 3 is non-zero, it is not 0. If this is non-zero, then the output will be right hand side. If the left hand side value is non-zero, then in the output, show the right hand side. What is right hand side? 2. So the 2 gets printed here. Next, B and C. Sorry. So next is B and C here. B is 2 and C is 0. If the left hand side value is non-zero, 2 is non-zero, then what should be printed on the output? Right hand side value, which is 0. Right hand side value is 0. That is what is printed. Next, B and A. B and A. So B value is 2 and A value is 3. If the left hand side value is non-zero, then print the right hand side. Right hand side is 3. So this has to print 3. If you want some number to be printed, then all the values should be non-zeros in order to have a non-zero output. But here C is 0, hence you are having somewhere the output as 0. Now, what if the left hand side is 0? Maybe you will get that question also. Then what happens, right? So let's answer. So now what we are doing is, there are multiple ways of writing the code. If I want to assign values to different variables, and if I want to have all those in a single line, I segregate them using semicolon. Otherwise, you type one after another. A equal to 3, enter. B equal to 2, enter. C equal to 3. Or A equal to 3, semicolon, B equal to 2, semicolon, C equal to 0. If you want all these 3 in a single line, this is how you write. Otherwise, this is how you write. Next, when you say print A and B, A is 3 and B is 2. Then what would happen? If this is non-zero, print this. So that is what should be there as an output. Do we see that? Yes. When you say print A and C, A is 3 and C is 0. If the left hand side is non-zero, print the right hand side. Right hand side is 0. Print that. Next, print C and B. C is 0 and B is 2. If the left hand side is 0, then you will return the left side only, which is 0. Only if the left hand side is non-zero, you print the right hand side. Otherwise, left hand side only gets printed. Okay. Then you are saying print orange and apple. Instead of numbers, you can have string also, characters. If you say orange and apple, is the left hand side 0? No, it is not 0. It is not null. There is something written in that. Orange is written. Hence, it's going to return the right hand side. If the left hand side is non-zero, print the right hand side. Right hand side is apple, so apple is printed. But then if I were to print it this way, print and apple. So see here, the left-hand side value is a null value, 0, null, nothing is there, just colon, nothing is given. Then what do? You print the same thing. Here you see the empty space. Here you have something on the left-hand side. If you have something, then print the right-hand side. This is how it works. Okay, so I'll stop here, friends. Thank you so much for joining in. Two things. There are series of questions which we are posting on LinkedIn. Okay, let me quickly open LinkedIn, and we have our page, and the questions pertaining to that are already posted. 2 hours back we posted. Please go through this and please put your responses in the comment section. And there is a surprise gift for people who answer all the quiz questions correctly. Okay, you get Amazon coupon. So it will be worth some money, Amazon coupon. So please feel free to go to the comment section, say question number 1, answer is whatever. Question number 2, answer is just 3, 4, 5 in that way. This will be posted on the chat window of our YouTube channel. So please do respond. And also please do not forget to follow our page. Please follow our company page and answer to these questions, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.